Hello and welcome to my revision video on Bayonet Charge. So, like all of my revision videos on the poetry, I'm going to art score this poem. If we've got an art score feature that we can pick out and we can analyse, then we've got plenty of information and plenty of ammo in our bucket to tackle anything the examiner gives us in our GCSE Literature Paper 2. So Bayonet Charge tells a story of a soldier who's part of a bayonet charge, which is when the soldiers are putting knives on the front of their rifles for close combat. And as this poem progresses, this soldier develops from a human and a man that we would associate with dignity and respect and honour, and by the end he is just a machine of war. So this poem explores the power of the conflict to change someone away from someone we'd recognise to something that we wouldn't. It also shows man's power to destroy the beauty of the world. There's lots of juxtaposition here between the beauty of nature and the brutality of man. We also see the conflict between man's instincts, what we would associate with humanity, and actually his duty on the battlefield of war. The key messages here is that conflict has the power to distort our morals, principles and character. These things do not matter to us in the midst of conflict. This is key because people sign up to conflict and want to be a part of conflict and associate conflict with honour and dignity and pride, but actually all those things go out the window and it becomes a battle for survival. But it also shows that the world we live in, its nature, its principles, is a good world. There is lots of beauty in this poem. However, the one scar running across it is the violence and the brutality of man. Humanity is the dent on our world. Right, so our first technique in this poem is a little bit tricky, so bear with me while I explain it. It's just here, and we've got bullets smacking the belly out of the air. So here Ted Hughes has taken something that is not human, bullets, and made it sound human, like it's smacking something. But then in the next line he does the complete opposite, and he takes something that is not human, a rifle, and compares it to a smashed arm, which is human. So this shows the line between the man and the weapon has been blurred to such an extent that now we can't decipher which is which. It also shows our conflict has dehumanised this soldier, making him just an emotionless weapon. He's not described or treated like a man anymore. The second one is this one, yellow hair, and you can run with this one however you like. First of all, you could look at it as a real hair, showing how weak and inferior the beauty of nature is compared to this conflict. And there's that juxtaposition between the brutality of man and the beauty of nature that I was talking about at the start. Or this could be a metaphor for a coward of war, and they've been dehumanised to make him sound like a hare. Yellow is the colour of fear and hares are prey, therefore showing that maybe not every human is built this way and can cope this way, but if they do not adapt to war like this soldier does, they become prey, they become something dangerous, they become endangered. Also, either way, we've got the fact this imagery juxtaposes this man's machine-like power. His new mentality and his approach does not belong in this beautiful world, and conflict has destroyed him. Now onto the structure of the poem. This poem is in blank verse. It's got no clear set structure in terms of rhyme or rhythm. So therefore, the different line lengths and the random punctuation replicate the changing pace and the stumbles of the attack. It's not a clear, consistent line into his machine-like state, but it's far more inconsistent than that. This conflict is chaotic and it's uncoordinated, just like the collapse of his morals and dignity. And just note, as we head into this last stanza here, there's no end stop here. So his final descent into this machine-like state cannot be stopped or paused anymore. Now some words. First of all, the first word I'd like to pick up is this one, clockwork. And this is a metaphor, but it also is a noun. So this shows how automatic and machine-like his actions are now. They're just like clockwork that happens again and again and again and again. But it also trivialises the war to this man. It sounds insignificant to him. It's just like telling the time now. He's become so used to this sort of immoral activity, so used to this conflict, that now it's just like clockwork to him. We've also got this adverb down the bottom, king, honour, human dignity, etc. And the fact that he's just dismissing all of these different elements just as etc. shows that all of his morals, principles and loves have been dismissed. They're no longer relevant in the heat of battle. He's become just an emotionless object of war. Now the alliteration, and this is in the first line. This is really key that it's in this first line. It's got this R and H sounds really close together. Running, roaring, raw, seamed, hot, khaki, his sweat heavy. And these R and H sounds replicate the sound of heavy breathing. This shows the physical impact of conflict and the adrenaline rush and the exhaustion that comes with it. The most key element of this is he's treated like a human. Breathing is a very human action, not something of machines. So at the very outset of our poem, he is introduced as a human and therefore currently still has his morals and his respect and his dignity. But as we move through, by the end, he just sounds like a machine. He's becoming compared to far more physical aspects, and the things we associate with a human like king, honour and human dignity had now just been dismissed and are no longer relevant to him. Finally, the rhythm and rhyme. Really key at this end, the last point of this poem, is that the line length and the caesuras decrease whilst the enjambment increases. So this becomes really quick towards the end, reflecting the speed of the soldier as he's getting to the key point in the attack. Now you can run with this how you want. Is this panic that Hughes thinks humans are not built for this treatment? Is this excitement that Hughes is suggesting that humans embrace violence and conflict, therefore it's instinctive to us? Or is it in fact fear that he realises now what he's become, and Hughes is reflecting in all humans that we would reject this and be afraid of the machine that we would become within conflict?